A very good morning to all of you. Today we will start with the programming language that is Python. Before we start with the Python, we should know what is a good program. A good program means that it should produce correct and a faster result, taking into account all the memory constraints. While making good program, we need to follow certain guidelines of a programming language for creating a successful program. So your program should have clarity and simplicity of expression, use of proper name for identifiers. Remember, I am repeating, it is very important that use of proper name for identifiers. Comment should be there if something is used that we are using this thing for that. Find indentation in Python. Remember, indentation is very important. What is indentation here? Indentation basically leaves white spaces at the beginning of each statement, which is used to determine the group of statement. Okay, when we write any program, you will see in Python, indentation is very much important. If indentation, you will not focus on indentation, your output will can come wrong or it will give error. Okay, so there are some characteristic of good programming also. First one is your flexibility. A program should be flexible enough to handle most of the changes without having to rewrite the entire program. Next one, the program should be user friendly. Okay, so other can understood the program and they will continue that program where at the mid or somewhere. Okay, so it must interact with user through the coding. Fine. Now next come to your Python. Now if so, be a good programmer, write a good program, and remember all the characteristic of good programming, that is flexibility, user friendly, portability, reliability, and self document code. In yesterday class, I also told you about how to solve how to become a good problem solver. Okay, by writing an algorithm and all the things. So I will not repeat here. Now come here with the introduction to Python. First of all, the thing is that how to install a Python on your computer. So open your browser and write www.python.org. It will open the prompt. Okay, download or directly download from here, or you can view the full list of download also, because might be your version of window is different. It's there is a difference of 32 or 64 bit, so you can choose from here. And which version you want to install, all the Python version are here. You can see the maintenance status and when they are released and the end of support. Okay, you can look specific version here also. See, 3.78 is your 3.8 is your latest, but when they get released, you can download here. If they release notes also, if I click on notes, they release how they are supported. Okay, so you can, if you have any problem, you can take our overview tutorial from there, how you can install, download, and whatever you want to do. Okay, next is your all versions are given over here. You can install from here, but I will tell I we will use 3.7 and 3.8. Any of one of them you can use. The latest version of 3.7 is given over here, 3.78, and 8 is already, I'll explain that it's here already, 3.8.3. Fine, so these versions are here. You can download a code by seeing the operating system of your Windows. How you will see? You will go to this PC. Wait, we will open any right and click right. If your Windows 10, if you are using Windows 10, I'm using Windows 10. Go to the properties of this PC, then it will open a window. From here you can get knowledge what operating system you are using. That here you can see system type is 64-bit operating system, x64 based processor. So from there are two type of operating system. One is 32-bit and 64-bit. So for your window, get a specific version, download a specific version, then install the version. Fine. Then you will see in download folder, you will see the version you installed. Suppose you download Python 3.8, then click on the version 3.8. As in my PC it's already installed, you will get here install button, then click on that, and the Python will get installed on your computer. Okay, so this is how to install a Python on your computer. Now first come to introduction to Python. What is Python? Python is an high level language. You better as I told you, the difference between the high level language and the machine level language. High level language is that which is understandable by us, and machine which is understandable by computer. So Python is a high level language. Fine. And for general purpose, Python is object oriented language also. So Python, who create Python? Python was created by Guido van Rossum when he was working in CWI. CWI is full form of CWI, Centrum Wiskunde and Informatics. Okay, Guido van Rossum in 1980s create or invent the Python at National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in Netherlands. So when this language was released, he developed it 1980s, it's fine, but released in 1991. The language get released in 1991. So Python got its name from a BBC comedy series from 70s, that is Monty Python Flying Circus. That is a one comedy series, Monty Python Flying Circus. The Python name came from there. Python can be used to follow both procedural approach and object oriented approach of programming. It is free to use. See what are procedural and object oriented. As we see some languages, C++, Java. C is your procedural, C++ then object oriented, and Java is also object oriented. So these languages came, but Python is use both the concept procedural as well as object oriented programming language. It is open source. What do you mean by open source scripting language? That means Python is free to use. Okay, it is derived from programming languages such as ABC, Modular Throw 3, Smalltalk, Algol 68. It is derived from other programming languages such as ABC, Modular 3, Smalltalk, Algol 68. Yeah. If we say about case sensitive language, yeah, it's a case sensitive. What do you mean by the case sensitive? Means if some keywords of Python is written in uppercase, then you have to write it down in uppercase only. Don't use lowercase. It will then give error if you use lowercase. Okay, so it's a case sensitive language. one of the official language at Google. Python is the one of the official language at Google. Some of the features of Python I will tell you, that it is general purpose programming language which can be used for both scientific and non-scientific programming. Okay, and it is platform independent language also, high level language as I told you. It is very excellent for beginners. This program written in Python are easily readable and understandable, because they in Python the English language is basically used. It is suitable as extension language for customizable application, and it is easy to learn and use. Okay, now who use Python? The question comes, who use Python nowadays? As we heard that Python is on boom. So Google search engine use Python. YouTube, fine. BitTorrent, there, what is BitTorrent? There you want peer-to-peer file sharing. These are written in Python. Next, your Intel, Cisco, HP, IBM, etc. use Python for their hardware testing. Now, Maya provide Python scripting API, that is application protocol interface. Okay, this can be done easily by the Java also, but robotics. Now, the iRobot come in a picture. iRobot use Python to develop commercial robot. NASA and other use Python for their scientific programming tasks. Okay. Now see some characteristic of Python, that it is interpreted language. How you can say Python is interpreted language? As you all know, the interpreter is used to read line by line. Okay, and it will read a program line by line. If it found any mistake there, it will immediately inform you. But in compiler, it's just a vice version. In compiler, the whole program by readable by program or compiler, then they will, if there is any error, then it will be shown at the end of the whole program. But here, line by line. That's why we can say Python is an interpreted language. Python source code is compiled to bytecode as a .pyc file, and this bytecode can be interpreted by the interpreter. Python is very intuitive language, object-oriented programming language, as I told you, easy and simple because code is very much user-friendly. It is portable, scalable, integrated, and expressive language. Now, what are Python interpreter? Name of some Python interpreter: PyCharm, Python IDLE, Python Bundle, PyGUI, Sublime Text, or many more Python interpreter here, but we will use Python IDLE. Okay, when in your start you will type IDLE, it will show here IDLE. Okay, now it will open. Wait for a minute. Yeah, it's a Python IDLE. As in my computer, Python 3.73 is installed, so it open Python 3.73 shell. Fine. Or you can check the Python version on your computer also. Write down here CMD. Open your command prompt. Simply type Python. So I have two versions, Python 3.8 also installed on my computer, so it's showing both the versions, latest version on my computer. So from here you can see the latest version of Python from here. Fine, I will show the Python 3.8 IDLE also. Yeah, wait. It will take some time. Yeah, it's a Python 3.83 shell. Fine. Now, you can use any of them. Only little bit difference would be there. Fine. Yeah. Come to our PDF now. Yeah. There are basically two modes to use the Python interpreter. First one is your interactive mode. Okay, first one is your interactive mode. Interactive mode, I already show you that this is your interactive mode. Fine. Now script mode. First we will see in interactive mode. Without passing Python script file, here we will not pass any file to the interpreter, directly execute code to the Python command line. See here. Now, if you want to add any number 56 plus 23, you will get the result at the same time, because 56 plus 23 is 79. And when you use Python, ideally remember the black code will be an input the program user will write, and the blue color numbers or text would be a simply output. Okay, this is your interactive mode. And in command prompt also you can write your program. See here, when you type Python, the window will open. Now simply 6 plus 5 is equals to, press enter, 11. But it when we type on command prompt, we will get confused which one is user writing program and which one is output. So it doesn't look interactive. That's why we use shell. Okay, it's on you, whatever you want to use. Either you want to use command prompt or a Python shell, you can use both the things. Fine. Now this sign you are seeing on the Python shell or a command prompt, it is a command the Python interpreter used to indicate that it is ready. Till the time you will not get these three smaller than signs, your interpreter is, that means your interpreter is not ready. Okay, the interactive mode is better when a program deals with a small pieces of code. Fine. To run a Python file or a command line on a command line, what you have to do, you have to write this code. You have to give full path name. Fine. Now next is your script mode. In this mode, source code is stored in a file with the .py extension, and use interpreter to execute the content of the file. To execute the script by interpreter, you have to tell the interpreter the name of the file. Fine. It is better when if you are using large program, then we will use the script mode. But for a small program, we will use Python shell only. See how we will go to the your script mode. Just click on file, then new file will get open. Here write any code, print, we will write print, then hello, okay, Python. Now save your file, press Ctrl S or go to the file. Write down any first program. We will write first. Okay, this is your first program. Save this with the name, any name you can type. Then go to the run, then run module. It just print whatever you written, whatever print command you given in the file, it just print the output of that file. Here you can see one more time. Wait. The program is written over here and the output come on the Python shell. So this is your scripting mode. Fine. Or if you can do it directly with the command prompt also, Instead of writing this program here, you can type this program in a notepad and run it through the command prompt. So it is basically easy. You do it with Python shell only. Fine, because it looks interactive also. So I told you about both the mode. One is your interactive mode and another one is your scripting mode. Fine. So today we will finish up with chapter 1, that is the basics of Python. How to install Python we did. How to install Python and both the interactive mode. Some program I will give you some questions uh, while on the WhatsApp group. So do that for today. And next chapter we will start from tomorrow. So have a good day and study well at your home.